many people will say, what is the path of the heart? It's this warm, fuzzy, anthropomorphized version of love. But it's not. The path of the heart is a removal of fear, and it's a state of unconditional giving, because that's what your heart does. It doesn't just pump blood around your body. It doesn't just create an electromagnetic field. What it does is it gives unconditionally to the environment in which it lives. It doesn't ask the liver to say thank you for the blood. It doesn't expect the stomach to say thank you. It gives life to every single cell in your body, but it also pumps blood to itself. It gives to itself just as much as everything else. And the rest of the body in turn keeps the heart alive. The stomach digests food so that the heart can have sustenance. The lungs breathe the air so the heart can have oxygen. Everything works in synchronicity, and the heart is what powers the whole thing. It keeps it alive. It gives unconditionally to its environment, and it expects nothing back. I give unconditionally all the time, and I always get back everything that I need to survive without even trying. It just happens. It just works that way. If you can know that that's how it works, don't believe that's how it works. Know that that's how it works. Follow the synchronicity. Follow the path of the heart. You can literally change your reality. And if everybody does this, bang, we win. And everything that the New World Order has done, everything that this social structure, the educational system, and everything that the whole system has done to us is to keep us away from this knowledge. And that, to me, is the key to the whole thing. If everything that they've done has been designed to promote division, then obviously the answer is unity. The answer is for us to realize that we are literally each other. That's why I finished every radio show I do with In Lakesh, which is the Mayan greeting that means I am another yourself, because we are literally each other.
It's well, that is your message, really, is peaceful rebellion. Now, a lot of people within the truth movement obviously get into zones sometimes where they become angry at what's going on, and then some people then call for not just peaceful rebellion but a literal fight back. I mean, what's your view on that?
Well, look, it's easy to fall into that state. It really is, and it's understandable. And there's going to be situations where you may need to fight. You may need to defend yourself, and that's okay. I'd do that in that situation, but really, when you do that, you're falling into the trap. You're falling into that fight fire with fire thing. You're in a state of imbalance. Let's say you see someone, just as an example, you can put this on the scale of a protest of a crowd against the government. Let's say, a police officer and a person, a pedestrian on the street, a police officer bashing up a pedestrian, and you go and you attack the police officer. What you're actually seeing is one person attacking another person, and then you are going and attacking the attacker. So on a holistic level, what you are saying is that it's okay for him to attack that person, because now I'm going to do exactly the same thing to you. You are doing it because you believe it's your duty, and so you're probably doing it unconsciously, Mr. Police Officer. This is just unconscious behaviour, because you're brainwashed into. I mean, you'd have to be brainwashed to be a police officer. Let's face it, folks. What these people do, these people are brainwashed. They have no idea what reality is. You've got to understand that, and so you can't hate them for that. These people have been more subject to left brain training than everybody. Most of them you'll probably find they were bullied at school. They've come from broken households. They've got all this stuff that's given them this psychological need to become a police officer in the first place. And now they're out there controlling all these people, and they're doing it unconsciously. So it's bad behaviour, absolutely, and you need to defend against that behaviour, absolutely. But if you go and attack that police officer, you are doing exactly what that police officer is doing to that other person, only you're doing it consciously. So you're taking that unconscious cruelty to a whole new level of conscious cruelty, and you're justifying it because you believe you have the right to judge what that person is doing from the perspective that you're seeing it from, without taking everything into account which explains why that police officer is acting in that way. Now, if the whole crowd decided that they wouldn't go on this rampage, they'd just stand there peacefully, and not even stand there peacefully, just stop giving the system your energy. Everybody, stop paying your taxes. Have public meetings, Instead of going to a big protest, have a public meeting and saying, okay, how do we wake up the neighbours who didn't come? Let's go and give them this information. Let's give it to them peacefully, eloquently, and let's work at awakening the community in a peaceful and responsible and adult manner, because that's what they understand. And once we've got them awake, then we can all stand up and say, hey guys, we're not going to do this anymore. We tried it your way and it doesn't work, and now we're going to do it this way. We want you to implement a free monetary system straight away. First thing, rule number 1, no interest on money. You have 24 hours to comply. If you don't comply, then we're going to get your police force to dismiss you and arrest you for crimes. And if you've enacted legislation that prevents you from being arrested for these crimes, well, we'd like to know who enacted that legislation, because we are the people. We are the nation. We are the holders of the original jurisdiction. We actually elect you and employ you to act as our administrative arm and to act in our best interests, and you're not doing so. It's as simple as that. And we now want you to be held accountable for your actions. We want all this problem fixed. It's really that simple. But the whole society has to wake up and do it. And the way to do that is to not go out and have violent protests, but to wake your neighbours up and do it eloquently and calmly and just put the cards on the table in a nice way.
So it's taking the power back, well, I mean, do you foresee an economic collapse in the foreseeable future, where people may well be forced into actually working in cooperation with each other instead of being separate and driving miles away to go to jobs for the sake of a salary, and so what's your view on that?
I think there will be an economic collapse, and I think that we really need to build a currency of friendship right now. I think that we all need to connect with our neighbours. We all need to get as much food growing as possible, not GMO food, real food that you can collect seeds from. If there's laws in place that say you have to use Monsanto GMO seed, we'll just disregard them. They're no law. And we need to connect with each other. We seriously do. I believe we are heading for a financial collapse. It's being done by design. I mean, this whole fiat system, it's designed to collapse. It can't not collapse. It's created to do just that. And if we are still dependent on this system, then what it will do is it will transfer all wealth and all ownership into the hands of those who issue the money. And everybody will lose their houses eventually. It'll just start at the bottom, and then it'll go up the food chain. And even those who consider themselves to be rich and well off will eventually suffer foreclosures. And so we need to disentangle ourselves from this system straight away. And the best defense we've got is to build community, to know that you can depend on your neighbours, to know that there's food growing all through the neighbourhood, so we're all looked after. We've all got shelter, we've all got food. And if the bank tries to foreclose on your home, say, well, show me the note. Show me the note with my wedding signature that says that you own my house, because you'll find that they can't. They've on-sold it. Tell them you won't accept a dry copy, a photocopy. It doesn't work. You need the original promissory note that you signed with wedding. You need to see that wedding signature. They won't have it. And you need to find out, go through the whole thing and say, well, show me where the loan was anyway. Show me how the money was created, because it would appear that there is no loan. It would appear that I created the money myself, and that you simply tricked me into believing a promissory note was a contract. And I'm not going to leave here until you show me that promissory note. And there's been court cases in the United States, and there's ones taking place in Australia at the moment. And they've actually got a moratorium on all mortgages in the States at the moment because of this show me the note. Where's the note? Show me the original wet ink signature. And everybody who is in danger of foreclosure on their houses need to ask the bank that. They need to ask to see the paperwork on the loan, and they need to ask to see the original contract. Well, it's not a contract, it's a promissory note, but the original note that has their wet ink signature on it, because if the bank does not hold that note, they cannot foreclose on your house. So if everyone is armed with that knowledge, and they've already gone through and built up a currency of friendship among the neighbourhood and support among the neighbourhood, and they've got gardens growing. I mean, you could share with your neighbours. One person, if you haven't got a big garden, just grow all carrots, and the guy next door can grow all lettuces, and the guy next door can grow pumpkins and whatever. And share with each other. That's a great thing to do as well, because it breaks down those barriers. Start giving to each other. Start sharing with each other. Start realising that we are all the same. We are all in this together. And the only reason you would be in fear of your neighbours or not want to share with your neighbours is because you have this misconception of what reality is. They're actually just like you, and we're all in it together, and we can all help each other if we simply start doing so. And we can stand up against this whole system, and then it doesn't matter what they do with their monetary system. It's all fake and fictional anyway. It's all fiat currency, just paper. Doesn't mean anything. So, it won't matter then. But that's the only way to fix it. The only way to fix it is to build community. It really is.
So, this is going to be coming to people's doorsteps because of some of the economical changes that are coming in, with hyperinflation, increased taxation. So people really need to start to think about this. I think sometimes the problem is the fact that it's never happened before, although it has happened before in Germany. But people don't expect it to happen, and it's kind of having to face that harsh reality, that it actually, even just basic economics says it's got to happen, as you've already talked about.
Well, it has to, but what people have to understand as well, that it's really hard for them to get their head around, but we don't actually need money. We don't need it. All we need is each other. If we lived in almost a tribal culture, with villages and having village gardens and everyone participating in the gardens, we all owned our houses. You imagine if there was a community garden in every community, and we all owned our own houses. Once you bought it, or you just everybody even should be given a house when they're born. Just for being born there, you should be given a house. Why the hell do we have to pay to be alive? We've got to spend our whole life paying to live in the country we were born in. I didn't have much choice. I was born here. Well, what am I supposed to do? Go and sit on a rock out on the ocean or something? It's ridiculous. Why do I have to pay to live in the country I was born in? And I've got to pay for the most basic commodities, fruit and vegetables and a roof over my head. It's absurd. What do I have to pay for this for? Why can't I just go and live somewhere, build a house, or even I don't care, give me one, put me somewhere and let me put a garden in so I can grow my own food, and then I can have my food and my shelter, and then I can sit back and I can decide what I would like to do with my life. But at the moment, we have to spend our lives collecting paper in order to have the most basic necessities of life. And it's ridiculous. People need to understand that it's a fictional system. It's just paper. Everything we need is there in abundance all around us. We have our councils tell us, you can only grow a certain amount of vegetables. You can't have these certain fruit trees here or whatever. Well, hang on a minute. I thought we employed these councils to act in our best interest. So how is it in our best interest to be prevented from growing food? How is it in our best interest to be forced to buy non-seeding, genetically modified varieties of food? So we have to keep going back to the store. We've turned everything that we do into a commercial exercise, and we need to realise that it's all fictional. Everything doesn't need to be profit-based. And if we connect with each other and we simply start acting out of self-responsibility, and we start serving the creation, serving other people as they were ourselves, and serving ourselves as we were them, then we could have everything we need. It's all right there at our fingertips. And I don't care about the money system, to be honest, Anthony. I see no problem with the current system of financial slavery crumbling at all. I think we'd be better off without money at all, to be honest.
So how would you advocate a system? Would it be almost exchange of goods and services, or would it be another form of tax-free currency, maybe backed by a particular precious metal?
Well, it could be anything. Money as it is simply a talisman for control. I don't think we need it. I think in a proper loved-based and community-based society we wouldn't need it. But okay, so we live in this system we have now, and people will probably want to have money. So, okay, we could have any form of money, anything that people want to put value on, but it can have no interest attached to it. We had tally sticks for years. They worked fine for hundreds of years. We had tally sticks. Kind of difficult to carry around in your wallet, but anything will do as long as it is not interest-based and coming from a central banking system. As long as it's controlled by government, and as long as the government is transparent and is a government that works for the people, then I have no problem with money. But the system that we've got at the moment is a privately run system. The governments don't work for the people, they work for the banks, and the system is designed to just keep people in debt.